I'll give short introduction. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you here. We are very fortunate to have association of His Grace Ananda Chaitanya Prabhu. Ananda Chaitanya Prabhu is a brahmachari disciple of His Holiness Shivarama Swami from London. He lived for 10 years in Bhaktivedanta Manor, UK, and then moved to ISKCON Hungary 8 years ago. He has been involved in various services over this period, including book distribution leader, ashrama leader, university preaching, temple management, congregational education. Around 10 years ago, he began editing the books of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Shivarama Swami, and more recently, he took up the responsibility to distribute them as well. With that, we will welcome Prabhu by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Over to you, Prabhu.
Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kanja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava
Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kanja Bihari Gopi Chanava Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Chanava Jaya Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Jai Prachachanaranjana Jai Yasodanandana Jaya Prachachanaranjana
Yashoda Jaya Rajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Punjabi Hari
Yamuna Pirachana
Jaya
Jabihari
Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Punjabi Hari
Yamuna Giravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Punjabi Hari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Punjabi Hari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. As Neha said, it's a pleasure to be here with you, especially during the time we are doing Janmashtami. We do a lot of seva. I don't want to block your view. uh, I don't want devotees to see us, rather see you. So we do a lot of seva for Janmashtami, as I was talking to you. This time, Abhishek Prabhu, if you can hand over. This time, we are trying to bring aspects of, this is a flyer, Veena Mataji helped us create this fire along with Neha's help. So we are trying to bring aspects of Vrindavan and also Mayapur here in our temple. So front of the temple, we are building a small Vrindavan. I can walk you around once you have time later. We are building Baki Bihari temple, Krishna Balram temple, and Radha Raman temple. We are bringing Yamuna Nadi in our consciousness through a Yamuna canal, and 2 cows are going to bless us mostly for the event. Hare Krishna. And then that side, we're now calling it the Mayapur side of our temple. A lot of pastimes are being painted. We have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu performing Sankirtan on the fence. Very soon, Ugram Narasimhadev is going to come on the fence and Ram Parivar. The idea is all of the fences are painted with different pastimes of Krishna and Radha Rani. We will have Ras Leela performed. At the back, we have performers from India coming who will perform special Ras Leela. And on the Prabhupada appearance day, they are performing. So a lot of attraction. We need your blessings, and hopefully one in Janmashtami we can have your presence during Janmashtami. And this is the flyer. If you can bless the flyer, and these are small flyers that will be distributed. We have a target of 5,000 flyers to be distributed. That means we want to reach out to 5,000 families. A lot of devotees go to Indian stores or different stores, and they stand in front of the stores and distribute the flyers. I just want you to bless us in this event. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Janmashtami. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ciao. All glories to your service, Guru. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. It's wonderful to be back here in Austin, Cedar Park. I said to Sarpru that I'll come back. So we've been on a 3-month tour of America. We were here on the 18th of May. And I told Prabhu we had such a wonderful time that I'd come back. One thing you may have noticed living in America, it's a huge country. Yes? And there's many, many temples, many, many communities. And so for this last weekend, it's pretty much our last weekend. We had the option of going to many places, but somehow my heart just brought me back here. Because wherever I went, myself and Smara Hari Prabhu here, wherever we went, we were remembering Cedar Park. Once Prabhupada was in Atlanta, I was listening to a recording. Prabhupada was in Atlanta and he started to glorify Atlanta. And he said, Atlanta temple is the best temple. So then I felt like saying Cedar Park is the best temple. There's a lot to do. You can look around. There's a lot to do to make this temple a first-class temple. And that's your duty. And you'll look back at this time. There's many devotees who are in the Krishna consciousness movement in the 60s. Imagine being in ISKCON in the 60s. Then what you have is a palace. But then as things go on, the movement, the mission develops and grows. The expectations increase. The facilities increase. But imagine those devotees in the 60s, in the 70s, how hard they worked, how much blood, sweat, and tears, and how much sacrifice they put in order to produce the ISKCON that we have today. We have so many wonderful facilities, so many books, so many projects and programs. We have so much opulence in so many ways, and that's because of the devotees of the past who have given so much. So in 20 years' time, 25, 30 years' time, 40 years' time, devotees will look back at the beginnings of this temple. 2019, you started here, and slowly things are growing. Not slowly, rapidly, things are growing. So much is happening. Satyasara Prabhu was just telling me about all of the various projects going on here, and it's so wonderful, it's so exciting. You're in a pioneering phase of this society, of this movement here in Austin. And there's so much that you can do that will make a huge difference for generations to come. So that means you have to sacrifice. It means you have to give. It means sometimes you have to give more than what you feel you have. But when you extend yourself, then Krishna fills in the gaps. Krishna is always there to help. So it's so wonderful to be back here. And I thank everyone for coming this evening. It's a warm Saturday evening. My body is Indian, but I lived in London all my life, most of my life. So I'm not used to this weather, but I love it somehow. So yeah, we were here. We traveled all over. Well, you know, we went from, we flew into Houston. We came here to, we went to San Antonio and then here to Austin. And then we went to Dallas for the Sadhu Sangha retreat. We went back down to Houston. We went to New Taliban, Mississippi, Atlanta, down to Alachua and Tampa, D-Land, then to Charlotte, Farmington Hills, Toronto, West Virginia, Washington, New Jersey, all over New Jersey, into New York. We went to Cincinnati and Columbus. We went to Ypsilanti. We went to Chicago. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few here as well. St. Louis, and yesterday we did a 13-hour drive from St. Louis to Austin. So we've done almost 11,000 miles in 11 weeks. So we've been driving around a lot. I'm physically tired, mentally tired, but internally, spiritually very enlivened. Because there's nothing like preaching. There's nothing like talking about Krishna. Krishna's name, form, qualities, abode, associates, and pastimes. And we've been distributing these beautiful books, which some of you who were here last time will have heard about, and I will mention something about them at the end. So in the last time that we spoke about, who remembers what the main story was? It was a long time ago. I don't blame you.
It's two different pastimes. We tell like how Radharani missing Krishna and Krishna missing Radharani. Those.
Yes. So, anyone else want to add something? Separation. Yes, we spoke about separation, absolutely. So the pastime was basically where Krishna is in Dwarka. So Krishna spends the first period of his life in Vrindavan. But then at a certain point, he moves to Mathura. Krishna has many things to do. The first period in Vrindavan is described, Nitasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Krishna has no duties. In Vrindavan, Krishna is as free as a bird, as we say. He can do whatever he likes in the way that he likes. He's floating. If you look at your life, everyone is duty bound. We have so many things in our lives which we have to do. If you're a student, then you have to go to school and learn so many things which you don't really want to learn. And then you can learn the Bhagavad Gita in your spare time, correct? That's school time. And then when you grow a little bit older, then you have to work. Who likes work? Who enjoys their work? If you had the choice, would you work? Srila Prabhupada said that work is the punishment for coming to the material world. We chose to come here. Work is one of the punishments. There's a few others. Work is a punishment. So you have to work. So many duties in relation to work. And then so many duties outside of work. So many bodily duties, bodily necessities we have to take care of. I don't like shaving, but this morning I had to shave. It's a chore. And it's not very comfortable, but you have to do. Otherwise, we look ragged, uncut, unshaved. So like that, so many things we have to do in the world. Krishna, no duties. Aram. He's relaxed. But then in Dwarka, Krishna goes to Mathura, he has to kill many demons, many duties to perform, and then he moves to Dwarka. In Dwarka, Krishna is a man of duty. He has 16,108 wives, 16,108 palaces. Each wife, 10 children. Who likes maths? How many children? 161,080 children. That's a handful. Big job. Yeah. Of course, Krishna has the ability to expand. So each palace has one Krishna. So that makes things a little bit easier, maybe. Anyway, so Krishna's in Dwarka, but he's missing the Vrajvasis so intensely. So then we told the pastime of how they make a Nava Vrindavan, a new Vrindavan in Dwarka, so that Krishna can go to Vrindavan whilst continuing on with his duties in Dwarka. But then Satyabhama comes. Who's Satyabhama? Radharani. Radharani, when she leaves, she goes to Dwarka, she is called Satyabhama. And Satyabhama meets Krishna eventually, and this is the pastime that we told. So Krishna's in Dwarka, he's missing the Vrajvasis so much. So today I thought we'd speak a little bit about pastimes in Vrindavan, because last time we spoke about Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka, which also have a Vrindavan feel, a Vrindavan flavor. So we're actually only interested in Vrindavan, really. Rupa Goswami wrote a play. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, because the play had two parts, Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna in Dwarka. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't separate Krishna and Radharani. So then he split the play into two. One is called Vidagdha Madhava. This is Krishna in Vrindavan. And the second play is called Lalita Madhava, which is Krishna in Dwarka. So when I first heard about these two plays, and I thought, Krishna in Dwarka, not interested. We're not interested in Krishna in Dwarka. We like Krishna in Vrindavan. But actually what we realize is that when we read Lalita Madhava, Krishna in Dwarka, it's actually in some ways even more Vrindavan than Krishna in Vrindavan. Because it's so beautiful, because it's describing Krishna in deep separation from the Vrajvasis. Krishna may be physically, he may physically be in Vrindavan. No, he may physically be in Dwarka, but his heart, his mind, his everything, his will, his desire is in Vrindavan. So he's laying next to Rukmini and he's calling Radha, 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 Radha. How would that feel? Imagine, right? If you're a wife and your husband is calling out the name of another. So this really pains Rukmini. So she's thinking, what is so special? What is so special about the Vrajvasis? Of course, they get used to Krishna having, there are different rules. We have to understand that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. Who is the supreme personality of Godhead? Any of us? Any of the men? Are we the supreme? Okay, we'd like to be. And that's the reason we're here. Because we have this something in our minds and hearts, all of us, men and women, which is saying, I'm God. I'm the center of the universe. I'm the controller. I'm the enjoyer. This is what brings us here. But of course, we're not. Everything emanates from Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. And therefore, Krishna is interacting with his energy. None of us can say the same. So when we're contemplating and hearing about these pastimes, we have to have this very clear shraddha, this very clear faith, this very clear ontological understanding as to what is going on here. Krishna is interacting with his energies. Everything is an emanation from Krishna. Radharani is the source of all of the gopis. She's a Kaya Vyuha, is described. And in turn, the queens of Dwarka are all expansions of the gopis of Vrindavan. So everything ultimately is coming from Radharani, and Radharani is Krishna's Haladani Shakti. Haladani Shakti means enjoyment potency. So everything ultimately is coming from Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. So we should keep this very fixed in our mind. Whenever we see Krishna with the queens, Krishna with the gopis, this has to be very clearly fixed. So Krishna is missing. So then Rukmini and the other queens of Dwarka and everyone in Dwarka, they see how much Krishna is yearning for Vrindavan. So they're thinking, they're wondering, what is so special about these Vrajvasis? Why is Krishna's heart theirs? We're giving ourselves so much. We're so dedicated to Krishna. We love him so much. Why is it that he gives partiality towards the Vrajvasis? What's so special about them? So one day, Krishna has a headache. Maybe you've heard this pastime before. Krishna has a headache. Imagine the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the source of all that be. He has a headache. So he's feeling terrible. He's saying, pain, this is terrible. I have a headache. And then everyone comes around. Mother Yashoda says, what's wrong? What can we do? So then Krishna says, I've got a headache. What do I do? Then Narad Muni comes. He says, Krishna, how can we live if you have a headache? We have to find a solution. So then Krishna says, I think there's one solution. Only one solution. He said, I need the dust from the lotus feet of my devotees. If I get the dust from the lotus feet of my devotee, then I think my headache will subside. This is the only solution that I can think of. So then Narad Muni says, I think that's no problem. You have so many devotees, unlimited devotees. I can bring some dust from your devotees. Krishna said, it may be more difficult than you think. So Narad Muni is also often wondering, everyone's curious of Vrindavan. Everyone wants to know what's so special about Vrindavan and the Vrajvasis. On this day, they get some insight. Narad Muni goes from person to person. He goes from town to village. He goes everywhere. He's trying to find someone who will bring some dust, who will give some dust to alleviate Krishna's headache. He goes to the queens of Dwarka. They say, oh my God, Narad, what are you talking about? Have you gone crazy? Dust from my feet to go on Krishna's head? I will go to hell. I would never do this. Krishna's my Lord. He's my master. I would never give him the dust from my lotus feet. Everywhere Narad Muni went, no one would give their dust. He met with a similar response. Krishna, my feet, his dust, my feet on Krishna's head. Never, ever in a million lifetimes. I will never allow this. Eventually, Krishna came to the gopis. Krishna approached the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani. And when they heard that Krishna had a headache, some of them fainted straight away. They fainted. They didn't know what to do. They were beside themselves. They said, Krishna has a headache. What do we do? How can we alleviate this situation? Anything. We'll do anything. Narad Muni said that we've discovered that there's one solution, only one possibility to overcome this situation. We need the dust from the devotees' feet. And the gopis, they didn't think for a second. No thoughts, no considerations. They started brushing off the dust from their lotus feet, and they filled buckets of dust for Narad Muni within minutes. Narad Muni said, aren't you worried? Don't you think you'll go to hell? Everyone said they'll go to hell if they give the dust from Krishna's feet. The gopi said, we don't care. Krishna's got a headache. We will suffer in hell for millions of lifetimes. Krishna cannot have a headache. This will alleviate his headache. We'll give you buckets of dust for millions of lifetimes if you like. Krishna cannot have a headache. So the Narad Muni thought, wow, this is love. This is surrender. This is service. Because service means no consideration for yourself. This is real love. And we see this in the purest form. And how can we relate to this? You'll suffer for millions of lifetimes. Of course, they won't suffer. But this is an example that they're ready to give everything to serve Krishna. We see a mother give so much in service to the child. She gives herself fully in so many ways in order to bring up a child. It's so wonderful. It's such an example. Mataji will soon be there. Yeah? Mataji, who's just gone, is a new mother. I guess she had a child already. But, when you, 2 children already. So, but mothers know what giving means. You have to give blood, sweat, and tears to the children in order to bring them up. It's such a wonderful thing. It's such an exemplary thing. And by meditating on this, we can get some inclination, some understanding of what it means to love. So we use this word love so freely in today's world. It's such a overused phrase. I love you. I love this. I love that. We use it, we bandy it around so loosely. But it doesn't have any value in today's world. Love means to give freely, to give without any consideration for oneself. And it's such a beautiful thing. This kind of love we have to repose towards Krishna. Save pum samparo dharmo yato bhaktira dokshaje ahaitukiya pratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. This is 126. You have to learn this verse. 126 from the Bhagavatam. Will you remember that? Yeah? It's a very important verse because it describes what is devotional service. It is ahetu, without cause, without motivation, nothing for myself. And apratihata, without cessation, continuously giving ourselves in service to Krishna, to a dokshaja, he who is beyond the material senses, the infallible one. We serve him with our heart and soul, and this is what brings real satisfaction to the self. Yayatma suprasiddhati. We're all looking for happiness. Correct? Who's not looking for happiness? This is our very nature. Yeah? Not atato brahma jigyasa, raso vaisa. The spirit soul, the jiva by its very nature is looking for rasa, is looking for taste, is looking for some juice, some nectar, some flavor in life. We're all looking for that. Once John Lennon was at school and the school teacher asked all the students, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? You don't know yet. No problems. Good. No problem. Madam, what do you want to be when you grow up? A neurosurgeon. Did we do this last time? Or have I heard we did? Maybe? A neurosurgeon, that's tough. Hard work. Do you know that? Are you ready to work hard enough to become a neurosurgeon? Is she doing, whose father, parents? Is she doing well at school? No. You have to work hard if you want to be a neurosurgeon. How old are you? 9. Okay, good luck. And? Some sort of doctor. Not easy. It's not easy. Any other? Okay. So, school teacher asked John Lennon's class, what do you want to be? And everyone went around. When I was young, I went through a phase. I wanted to be a firefighter. I was a little older. I wanted to be a policeman. A little older, I wanted to be, we went on the plane. I thought, wow, I want to be a pilot. I want to fly in the skies. And then at a certain point, I fixed on becoming a banker. So after I graduated from university, I became a banker. I was a trader. So I fulfilled my dream of becoming a banker. But we have many dreams, and I warn you, you have many dreams in life, like all the parents here. You have many dreams of what you want to be and what you want to do when you're older. And many of us achieve those dreams, correct? Coming to America, working in IT, graduating from this college, this university, so many hopes and aspirations. You look across the room, you think, I love to marry her, or I love to marry him. You succeed. And then what happens? Anyway, you know the answer. So when it came to John Lennon, teacher asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did John Lennon say? I want to be happy. Dreamy, I want to be happy. The teacher said, you don't understand the question. John Lennon said, you don't understand life. It's deep. He was a young boy. What is life ultimately about? It's about being happy. It's a deep answer. We have so many aspirations, but ultimately we want to be happy. And as devotees, we should understand what makes us happy. So the ideal answer to this question, kids, listen up. The ideal answer to this question is, I want to be a pure devotee. I want to be a pure devotee of Krishna. This is my goal. This is my aspiration. And then everything else will happen. You know, we all, it's like if you throw someone into a swimming pool, what will they do? They'll struggle, they'll swim, right? To keep alive. In this world, we're all going to be alive. We're living in America, What's the problem? So many opportunities are there. It's the land of the American dream, So many opportunities. Life will go on, but the real goal of life is, I want to become a pure devotee. And this is the aspiration. This is the seed of pure devotion. And this we should plant into our hearts. This we should plant into the hearts of the children. That this is actually the goal of life. This is what the human form of life is for. This is what it's about. To learn Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Human form of life gives us the opportunity to ask why. Who am I? What am I doing here? What is the goal of life? How can I actually truly become happy in the most permanent sense of the term? And this is what we have to really aspire for and work for. I went home to London in the beginning of the year, and I was just looking through my files, what I studied at university, just in my third year, my final year at university. And it was such a huge amount of information. Notes, printed notes, written notes, essays, assignments, huge pile of papers, folders and folders and folders, textbooks that I poured over, my notes in the textbooks, all of this information that I stuffed into my head in the space of 8 months or so. A lot of hard work, effort, and energy. When I went to work, I used maybe 2 or 3%. I studied economics, I worked in banking. You'd think they're very much related. I used 2 or 3% of what I learned at university in my actual work life. And I thought, why did I do all of that? If I used just a fraction of that effort and energy to learn about Krishna, about Vrindavan and so on, where would I be? How much nourishment, how much real happiness it would bring to the heart. There are so many wonderful pastimes. Once, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur produced a newspaper. It was called Nadia Daine Prakash. And in the newspaper, at the front, he put the politics, the economics. At the back was sports and other mundane things. Inside, it was news from the spiritual world. This was the topic. And he had all sorts of philosophy and pastimes from the spiritual world, from our scriptures. He made this a daily newspaper. So the devotees went to him and they said, this is a daily newspaper. How will we keep going? We'll run out of things to say. This is every day we have to produce a whole newspaper. So many things we have to write about. We'll run out. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, the spiritual world is Navanavaya. There's always fresh, new wonderful things taking place in the spiritual world. Never stale, always new. He said we could produce a new newspaper, not just every day, every hour. He said we could produce a new newspaper, not every hour, every minute. He said not every minute, we could produce a new newspaper every second, every moment, because there's always something fresh, new, and wonderful taking place in the spiritual world. There is never any loss. The devotees were astounded because he had real access to the spiritual world. He could see the pastimes. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena shanta sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Someone whose eyes are anointed with the salve of love is described. They can see Krishna, his name, form, qualities, abode, associates, and pastimes in a way that others just cannot see. They have access. So there's so many beautiful, wonderful pastimes. Once, we all know Jatila Kutila. Jatila and Kutila? So Radharani has a husband. Who knows a husband's name? Abhimanyu, very good. Someone else, who knows Abhimanyu's sister's name? Kutila. And her mother? Jatila. So there's Jatila and Kutila. You can feel the names, right? There, we say in English, beady little eye. They're always looking around like this at everyone, looking to criticize, looking to find some fault, some problem. And their number one victim is their daughter-in-law. So this idea that the mother-in-law and the sister-in-law are evil, this is coming actually from the spiritual world. It's not just in Hindi movies. So Radharani is married into this family of Abhimanyu, and she has a very evil mother-in-law, Jatila, and a very evil sister-in-law, Kutila, and they're always watching her and trying to find some fault, some problem. So they know, they feel that there's something going on between Radharani and Krishna. They feel it. You know, ladies have a sixth sense. Men are often oblivious. They don't realize things. But women, they know that there's something going on in the background. There's a story behind the story. Yeah, men will agree with me, right? Maybe to a degree. Sorry if I forget that in India this means yes. So I was born in London. What can I do? My heart is Indian, but my body, I was born in London. So Jatila and Kutila are there. So they feel there's something going on. One day, Kutila, she hears in Radharani's bedroom, there's some voices. And she thinks that must be Krishna. This sounds like Krishna 100%. Krishna's in there, Radharani's in there, and we're going to go in and we're going to catch them red-handed. All this time, Radharani's denying it. She's playing like she's some simple, innocent little girl. I'm sure this is Krishna in there. We're going to catch her red-handed. So, like you get a cup to the door. You've seen in the cartoons, you get a cup to the door and you listen what's going on inside. She says, okay, there must be. This is it. We're going to catch them. So she calls Jatila, she calls her mother, and they both listen. So they say, okay, we're going to just open the door suddenly and we'll catch them. On the other side, it's not just the ladies. Krishna also. He has his sixth sense. Krishna has all opulences. So Krishna also feels there's someone on the other side of the door. So just as they're plotting to run into the door, Krishna's thinking, okay, I better leave. I better get out of here. So then just as they're opening the door, Krishna, he's running to the window and he's jumping out of the window. So he's jumping out of the window. Jatila and Kutila are opening the door. They come through the door and they see they're sure, surely someone just went out of the window, but they can't prove it. Wasn't there someone was here? That Krishna was here, wasn't he? He was here. You were talking to him. We heard you. We heard you both. And Radharani's, oh, What do you speak? What are you talking about? No one was here. Nothing. Oh, you must be mistaken. No. Oh, I was talking. Yeah, I was just, sometimes I talk to myself. I get lonely sometimes. Sometimes I start speaking to myself, but no, there was no one here. Nothing to Krishna. I haven't seen Krishna in decades. Never seen Krishna. What are you talking about? Krishna, I never go near Krishna. I've heard about all of his pranks. He's a real, they call him a black snake. Jatila and Kutila call Krishna a black snake. So Radharani says, oh, that black snake, I'd never go near him. No. So they were just about to leave. Jatila and Kutila, they thought we failed. We thought we saw him, but there's no proof. They were just about to leave the door. And then they see a flute on the bed. Krishna left his flute on the bed. He was in a rush. He didn't notice. He left his flute there. So then Jatila says, aha. So you say Krishna wasn't here? You think we're stupid? You think we didn't hear your voice? Look at this flute. We've caught you red-handed. No more excuses. This is the proof that we've always been looking for. Krishna was right here. He escaped. We even saw him jumping out of the window. What excuse do you have now, Radharani? What do you have to say for yourself? You're guilty. Guilty. What would you say? What do you do now? What can Radharani say to excuse herself? What kind of story can she make up to get out of this situation? Can you think of anything? When I heard this story, I thought, my God, what happens now? The game is up. The problem is, or the thing is, that in Vrindavan, there's this Parakiya Ras. There's Swakiya Ras and Parakiya Ras. Swakiya means wedded love. Wedded love is the domain of Dwarka. Krishna has so many queens, and they're all duly wedded. We told the pastime of how Satyabhama meets Krishna, and they have a Parakiya relationship, meaning unwedded relationship for some time. But eventually Krishna marries Satyabhama also. This doesn't endure. Dwarka doesn't support Parakiya unwedded love for long. Vrindavan is all about Parakiya Ras, unwedded love. So now what will happen? How will this relationship of Krishna and Radharani continue? So, Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the director of the play. Every day Vrindavan has a new play. And Yogamaya is the director of the pastimes. She decides what will happen. Who's the director? You're doing plays during Janmashtami? Any plays? Who's the director of the play? Who's in charge? There must be someone, no? Rohini, she's here? Sure. Devotee is always humble. But you're in charge, no? The buck stops with you. You're responsible. Correct? Yeah, let's put it like that. You're not the boss, but the buck stops with you. Yes? In the same way, so Rohini Mataji is like the Yogamaya in Krishna's pastimes. Yeah, so Yogamaya is overseeing the pastimes. She decides what will happen today. Krishna gives Yogamaya power of attorney. He says, you're in charge, you decide what happens, I just want to have fun. Yeah, so this is her duty, her responsibility. So Yogamaya is directing the play on a daily basis. She arranges the cast. She says, this is what's going to happen, and this is Krishna is someone who likes excitement. He doesn't like a dull life. He doesn't like a boring life. So Yogamaya, she tells Vrindadevi. Vrindadevi is Yogamaya's granddaughter. And Vrindadevi has parrots. So Yogamaya decides what will happen. Vrindadevi, she has parrots, and she executes whatever Yogamaya decides. So Vrindadevi sends her parrots to all corners of Vrindavan, and the parrots tell all of the cast members that today you have to be here at this time, at this place, and this is what you have to do. This is a part that you play. And like that, all of the cast members are informed. So Vrindavan is a perfect drama. 24/7, 365 days a year, eternity drama. Perfect life. So Krishna enjoys these wonderful pastimes. So at this point, no one knows what to do. Radharani just wants the earth to open. Have you ever had that feeling when you just want the earth to open and eat you up? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be part of this. This is crazy. This is terrible. Please, God, help me. No one says Krishna help me, because in Vrindavan, no one thinks Krishna's God. Yeah. So, but please help me. What do I do? Actually, everyone goes to Krishna when there's some trouble, but not because he's God, just because he's Krishna. In the Govardhan Leela, Indra's raining and raining. There's floods. What do? They don't go to God. They go to Krishna. Anyway, so now Yogamaya comes to the scene to help Radharani, because Radharani has no idea what to do, what to say. What can she say to this? How can she weasel her way out of this situation? So then Yogamaya comes and she says, what's going on here? So Jatila and Kutila say, Yogamaya, she's like she's a Brahmani. They're all Vaishyas. So Vaishyas all respect and look up to the Brahmanas. So when Yogamaya comes and everyone pays their respects to Yogamaya and they say, we're so glad you're here, Jatila Kutila say, we're so glad you're here. We have something to tell you. We found Radharani out. Do you remember I told you so many times that there's something going on between Radha and Krishna? Today we found them out. So they told the whole story. And we found Radharani was trying to play innocent again, but we found this flute on her bed. How much more proof do you need? Yogamaya, what shall we do? What shall we do with this girl? We should kick her out of Vrindavan. She's a glunk. What's glunk? She's a black spot on our family. What do we do with her? Yogamaya says, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Didn't you know last night it was raining flutes? There's flutes everywhere in Vrindavan. Let's go to, so they go to Kutila's bedroom. In Kutila's bedroom, there's not one flute, there's 3 flutes. So then Jatila starts beating her daughter, saying, my God, you as well with Krishna? So then they go to Yogamaya says, okay, Jatila, let's go to your room. In Jatila's room, there's 5 flutes. Oh my God. So they both hold their head in shame and they have no idea what to say. They're in silence. And Yogamaya saves the day. Radharani is in the clear and everything is okay. Another story. Wow, time flies. Once Mother Yashoda was with Krishna. They were together. And then suddenly, Krishna doesn't just have a headache, but Krishna, he just falls unconscious. He falls unconscious. And Mother Yashoda is beside herself. She has no idea what to do. She doesn't even have first aid training. Yeah. What do I do now? My God, my Krishna, my darling Krishna, what do I do? At that point, Krishna expands. And he enters Vrindavan as a doctor. So Krishna enters Vrindavan as a doctor and he comes along. And Mother Yashoda is so amazed. Wow, doctor, you've come. How amazing. So he says, okay, what do you mean? Well, what's wrong? What can I do for you? How can I serve you? In the Vedic age, doctors would naturally serve. No wages. Brahmanas never took wages. They would always just serve. And the householders would naturally know that it's our duty to maintain, to serve, to give to the Brahmanas. It was a very perfect culture. In this way, people, especially Brahmanas, they could act according to their nature, which is simply to give, to serve, and they wouldn't have to worry about their maintenance. These days, even a Brahmana, even a pure Brahmana has to worry about paying the bills, paying his rent, paying for his car, paying for so many things. It's the way of the world. We can't do anything about it. Well, we can out farm communities. But anyway, let's not talk about that right now. So Krishna says, well, the doctor who's Krishna disguised, he says, okay, how can I serve? What can I do to help? He says, my Krishna, my darling son Krishna, you must know Krishna. Everyone knows Krishna. Look, he's unconscious. What do we do? So the doctor gets his stethoscope. Of course, not a real stethoscope, 5,000 years ago. But, you know, he checks the pulse. That's more Ayurvedic, right? Checks the pulse and makes his expert assessment. He said, the condition is critical. It's a very serious situation. Your son is very unwell. But there is one solution. That one solution, oh dear Mother Yashoda, for your darling Krishna to be revived, we need some water from the Yamuna. Mother Yashoda said, sure, Yamuna's right here. Of course, we can give gallons of water from the. He said, no, listen to me. We need water from the Yamuna, which has been brought in a clay pot. We have millions of clay pots. No, listen to me. She's very, she's stressed. Water from the Yamuna, which has been bought in a clay pot, but the pot has 100 holes in it. Mother Yashoda said, oh. She said, okay, I'll try. It sounds difficult, but I'll try. The doctor says, no. You're the mother. The mother cannot give this solution. It has to be another lady of Vrindavan. So then word gets around. So all of the ladies of Vrindavan, they come. And they come to this place. And they're all queuing up to help. So then one lady goes, they drill 100 holes into the pot. They take it to the Yamuna. The moment anyone puts the pot into the Yamuna, takes it out, all the water leaks. By the time they get back, the pot is empty. What do you do? So then so many ladies try. Everyone fails. And the doctor says, there's these two ladies. They live all the way in Javat. Call them. Maybe they'll be able to help. Mother Yashoda says, who? Tell me, what are their names? Jatila and Kutila. Call them. They will be able to help. So then, Mother Yashoda runs to Javat. In order to facilitate Krishna's pastimes, Vrindavan is described as a 1,000-petaled lotus. And that lotus expands and that lotus contracts in accord with the pastime. When needed, the lotus will expand. So when the pastime is that Krishna will be late to meet Srimati Radharani, Radharani will be angry with him. She'll go into man. Krishna, forget it. I don't want to meet you. You're a waste of time. You're wasting my life. You don't care. You're not interested. We won't meet. When this is going to be the pastime, then the lotus of Vrindavan expands. So everything becomes longer and Krishna takes much longer to get there and he's late. When needed, the lotus of Vrindavan also contracts so that Krishna or anyone, when they need to get somewhere, then they can get there much quicker. So in this case, the lotus of Vrindavan contracts. So Mother Yashoda gets to Javat so quickly. Javat's quite far. If you go from Nandagram to Javat, anyway, it's a distance, a few kilometers. Mother Yashoda gets there in no time. She calls Jatila and Kutila. And they said, we need the purest personalities, Mother Yashoda said. And the doctor has said that you two are selected as the purest personalities. So they get very proud. Yes, we will come. We will show everyone we are the purest. So they come, Jatila and Kutila. So then Kutila says to her mother, don't worry, don't expend yourself. I'll do this. Leave it to me. So then Kutila takes the pot very proudly and she goes to the Yamuna. She fills it with water and all the water leaves. The pot is empty. And then Jatala says, "Oh my God, my daughter, I gave birth to you. What do you think? This is crazy. Give the pot to me. I wish I didn't give birth to you. You're a disgrace to the family." So then Jatila takes the pot and very proudly she goes to the Yamuna. She fills the pot with water and all of the water leaves. So then they give the pot back and Jatila starts saying, "What kind of a task is this? What kind of a doctor are you? I never heard of this kind of prescription. We have so many wonderful Ayurvedic medicines. Give this Krishna boy, this black snake, give him some Ayurvedic medicine. What kind of a solution is this? This is like asking an elephant to bathe in a cow's hoof print, the amount of water in a cow's hoof print. This is like saying you want a snake from Garuda's head. Garuda is a vulture. They eat snakes for breakfast, snakes for lunch, and snakes for dinner. You won't find a snake on Garuda's head." So she says, "Forget it. This is an impossible task. It's pointless. No one can help you with this." So the doctor starts doing some calculations. He gets his book out, flipping the pages. He gets his ruler, starts looking, and he says, "In this entire land of Raj, there is one woman, one lady who can complete this task. She is the purest of the pure. She can help us. She can revive Krishna." And Mother Yashoda is saying, "Please, please tell me who. I'll find her, whoever she is." And the doctor says, "Her name is Radha." And Jatala and Kutala start laughing, saying, "My God, what do you think? Don't you know the rumors about this Radha? You don't know who she is? This doctor's really crazy." So Mother Yashoda says, "I will try anyone." And Radharani's lovely. What are you talking about? So she runs and she brings Radharani. And Radharani's very shy. This is one of her qualities. She's very shy. So she comes and she takes the pot. And Mother Yashoda encourages her, don't worry, please do this for me, for my Krishna." So then Radharani takes the pot. She puts the pot into the Yamuna and she slowly lifts the pot and no water coming out. She returns. Krishna takes the water from the Yamuna, which is in this pot with 1,000 holes. No water is dripping out. Full pot. The doctor takes some water from the Yamuna. She sprinkles it over Krishna, and Krishna comes back to consciousness. Hari Bol. And Radharani is therefore declared as the purest maiden, the purest lady in Vrindavan. And Jatala and Kutila have their heads hanging in shame. So like this, there are so many beautiful, wonderful pastimes in Vrindavan. It's endless nectar. You know, sometimes parents give their children Harry Potter to read. I won't ask who allows their children to read Harry Potter. And so many other books, so many other literatures are out there. But we have a wealth. We have such an amazing, wonderful wealth of literatures. Some which are very good for children, some which are very good for adults. But this is where we need to absorb our consciousness. This is the key to becoming Krishna conscious. This is the key to becoming more and more advanced in our bhakti, is to read and hear about Krishna more and more. The more we hear about Krishna, his name, form, qualities, abode, associates, and pastimes, the more we will feel great inspiration in our Krishna consciousness. The more we will find peace and harmony, the more our spiritual practice will flourish. The more Krishna consciousness will become less of a chore. I have to chant my rounds. to an inspiration. There's this meme. There's a young boy and he's chanting his rounds. And you can see it's such a chore. He's watching his phone, he's watching the TV, talking to his friends, doing so many other things, and he's got his hand in his bead bag. And he's just waiting for the 16 rounds to be finished. 1,728 mantras. My God. When he finishes, then he spins a bead bag and he throws it out. And he goes up, 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 up. Through the stratosphere, you can see the earth. And the bead bag is flying far, far away. And he says, finished until tomorrow. So sometimes this is our mood when we're chanting Hare Krishna. We may not throw the bead bag out, but the mood is there. Okay, when can I finish? Krishna consciousness is actually not a chore. It's a pleasure. It's bliss. It's wonderful. How do we realize this? How do we experience this? We have to hear and chant with great attention, with great focus. We have to know who this Krishna is. And that's why very early on in our Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada didn't know whether he'd finished the Bhagavatam. Translating the Bhagavatam was Prabhupada's main life's work, his magnum opus. And he was very determined to finish, of course, but he wasn't sure whether he would. And therefore, he gave a summary study of the 10th canto, not the 11th canto, not the 12th canto, although the 11th canto is very, very important philosophically. It gives many, many wonderful insights. But Prabhupada did a summary study of the 10th canto in the form of Krishna book, so that devotees would know who Krishna is. So when we chant Krishna's name, our hearts and minds are filled with Krishna, his name, form, qualities, abode, associates, pastimes. We should know unlimitedly about Krishna. And therefore, we have Krishna book, and other devotees have written books in pursuance of the Krishna book to extend. So Srila Shivram Maharaj is actually my spiritual master. He's based in Hungary. He grew up in Canada. And he joined Krishna consciousness in Montreal. He was actually the temple president in Chicago for some years. But after 1980, he never really spent much time in America, and that's why many of you won't have met him or seen him. Some of you may have heard from him on social media, but what he's doing for the past 30 years is that he's writing, alongside many other services. He's a GBC, Guru Sannyasi in ISKCON, and he's a great writer, a prolific writer. So he's written many, many books with the purpose of injecting Krishna into our hearts. The more we hear about Krishna, the more ultimately we fall in love with Krishna. We become mad after Krishna. And this was really Prabhupada's purpose. Prabhupada wanted us to become mad after Krishna. So the more we read about him, the more we hear about him, the more we discuss topics of Krishna, the more we will become attracted to Krishna. So like I mentioned, for the past 3 months almost, we've been traveling around North America, including Canada, and we've been sharing these wonderful books with the devotees. They're beautiful books. These pastimes that I told are in there, but many, many more. 600 pastimes of Krishna. So many wonderful pastimes. It's unlimited. And once you finish the 600, you'll have forgotten what you read from the beginning, so then you can start again. So that's my experience also. So when you read it, it's fresh. But it's so wonderful, so wonderful. The artwork in these books is amazing. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into producing these books. And we're on the last leg of our journey. And I know some of you took sets when we were here last time. Some of you took one. So this is your chance to complete and buy the other one. For those who didn't get any, you can take them tonight. They're absolutely beautiful and full of rasa. And in this way, you can help us serve the mission of Krishna consciousness, which is ultimately that we projects are very, very important. Temples allow us to provide a facility for ourselves, our families, and the wider community to come together and celebrate Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a celebration. But in addition to that, ultimately, we have to remember that we have to become Krishna conscious. And this is the ultimate project of Krishna consciousness, that we have to become lovers of Krishna, and we cannot forget this. This has to be the number one project in our lives. When I was studying, I'd become a serious practitioner of Krishna consciousness, serious, in my first year at university. And in my second year, I decided that whatever I do, I want to make sure that Krishna consciousness remains my number one priority in my life. So that's what I told myself. And then I started to work in banking. I wanted to become a monk, join the ashram, join the temple after my first year, after completing my degree. But devotees told me, just work. You have job offers, take one and work. And you can donate Lakshmi to Krishna, no problem. And you can buy books. Devotees told me that also. Book distributors told me buy books from me. So I worked, and I began to feel and experience that Krishna was on the sideline. In my heart, he was number one. But practically speaking, I had so many other things to do, so many other important things, priorities, that practically speaking, it was very difficult to put Krishna number one. We have to be very careful that we mold our lives in such a way that Krishna takes a priority as much as possible. It's very, very important. Otherwise, life takes over, and suddenly you're 50 or you're 60 and you're wondering, where did life go? What happened? And what have I actually achieved? Okay, I may have worked for 30 plus years. I may have got a house. I may own a car or maybe a few cars. I may have done so many things. But have I really developed Krishna consciousness? And trust me, as you grow older, time only goes faster. Correct? Yeah? You're a little older than me, but you know what I'm talking about. Time only goes faster. I remember when I was 20 and I thought, wow, time flies. And then 30 and I think, oh my God, can it go any faster? But time only goes faster as you get older. And you wonder, where is time going? Time and tide wait for no man. Geoffrey Chaucer says. Prabhupada quotes him. Twice Prabhupada mentions this in the Bhagavatam purports. Time and tide wait for no man. So don't waste time. There's no such thing as tomorrow. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Become Krishna conscious today. And you're never too young. So it's good. Okay, I'm going to stop and see if there's any questions, comments, criticisms, complaints.
Hare Krishna.
How long do we have? You all have to do Janmashtami preparation, right? Correct? Who's got Janmashtami preparation to? Be honest. Yeah? So we won't take too long. I'll give precise answers. Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, you mentioned that Vrinda Devi is Yogamaya's granddaughter.
Yes.
So Vrinda Devi means Tulsi Rani. The same or different?
So this is a long answer. So I won't give the long answer. Vrinda Devi and Tulsi Marani are basically the same, but not fully the same. And we have to get into real technical details. There's a long story which describes how Vrinda Devi actually manifests as Vrinda Devi. She gets cursed. And it's a long story. Look up the story of Tulsi. And it's described in various places. And it kind of describes, it explains this a little more. It will put some light on how they're basically the same person, but not fully the same person.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyone else? Yes, Prabhu. Mike.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
this might be another one that's difficult to give a short answer to. But as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we're always concerned with rasa, with the mood of various pastimes. And yet, Srila Prabhupada specifically was always, especially in the context of when he came to the West, he was very concerned about tattva also, making sure that we understand, that Krishna is God, like establishing a lot of the foundational underpinnings
Yes.
behind the philosophy behind
Absolutely.
the rasa. And so he often uses this example whenever various people, rascals or so, he would say, would claim to be God in the material world. He'd say that, oh, these people are saying that they can be God, but if they have a toothache, they can't even control it. He's said this many times. And yet, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we also understand this idea of rasa or like that Krishna can choose to have a headache or something. He chooses to take control out of himself in Vrindavan so that he can enjoy pastimes. How do we understand this and yet also be very, I guess, unapologetically fierce when challenging people who claim to be God? Who will give these types of excuses of like, oh, it's pastime.
Oh, that Krishna also has problems, has a headache, etc.
Or this, this is his lila. This is this.
Oh,
In avatars like lila,
Right.
choosing to be like this.
So I mean, the point is, so everyone heard the question, understood the question? No. Okay, so the question is basically, you can hear me clearly. The question is basically that Prabhupada was very strong on tattva. He emphasized tattva actually more than rasa in his preaching, in his classes, in his purports also, generally speaking. But then we describe pastimes where Krishna has a headache, Krishna faints, Krishna seems to go through the maladies that the average person in today's world goes through. And then we have God men, people who claim that they're God. But Prabhupada would say that they can't even cure a toothache, Prabhu mentioned. So then how can we disprove or defeat these God men when it seems that our Krishna also seems to go through various maladies? Clear? So Krishna, it has to be very clear. When Krishna is going through, and we can see from if we look at the entirety of the pastime, this is very clearly only a lila, and it has a purpose to bring about Radharani being declared as a purest of the pure. If a mundane man who's claiming to be God has a toothache, he has no control over it. What is the purpose of his toothache? And let's look at Krishna's life in its entirety. Who can lift Govardhan Hill? Yeah. Who can maintain 16,108 wives? Who can kill so many demons at such a young age? Krishna was but a few days old when Putana came to poison him, and Krishna killed her. And then so many other demons who he defeated. When Brahma began to think that Krishna is an ordinary man, his creator is an ordinary man, then Krishna, and he stole the calves and the cowherd boys. Then Krishna, for 1 year, expanded himself and became those very calves and cowherd boys. So any God man, anyone who's claiming to be God, he wants all the benefits and facilities of being God, but okay, show yourself. So we can't just look at one pastime and okay, they can claim that we're just making it up, that this is Leela. Okay, go and lift Govardhan Hill. And Govardhan Hill is shrinking by 1 mustard seed every year. Yeah, Pulastya Muni, there's a curse, etc. So it's even smaller, it's smaller than it was 5,000 years ago. Go lift Govardhan Hill. Give it a try. Show us. So, all these people. And the other thing is, Arjun says in the Bhagavad Gita, Asita, Devala, Asita, Narad, Vyas. What's the verse? Jai. So all these great souls, they confirm also that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. He's a cause of all causes. So another great souls also confirm. Who confirms that this guy, Sant Ram Rahim Singh, you've heard of him? Yeah, some guy who dresses with all this. He's in North India. I think he's arrested in jail by now with some rape claim and this claim and that claim. But these people. So he's Sant Ram, Hindu, Rahim, Muslim, Singh, Sikh. So he's trying to appeal to everyone. Yeah, to who's to Muslims, Hindus, and Sikhs. He's trying to appeal to everyone, and he's giving this very wishy-washy philosophy. He goes around in very flashy clothes with lots of gold, and he does these stupid dances. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, it's online, but anyway, Hare Krishna. And he claims that he's God. So who says, who confirms, on what basis do you make this claim? So there are various ways in which we can break this argument down as being a very shoddy, shaky argument. Yeah? Okay, one more question. One more question. It has to be a Maraji because two Prabhus have asked. So the pressure is on the Matajis. No pressure. We're all friends.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is, whenever we go to Vrindavan, we enjoy. We love seeing deities and doing aartis and all the things. But I don't know, whenever we leave Vrindavan, it's like very sad feeling that Krishna ji, when you will call us back. And as we live very far from Vrindavan, it's hard. So how to get away from this feeling?
Actually, so the question is, when we go to Vrindavan, it's so wonderful. It's so amazing to be in the Dham. So wonderful remembering Krishna, seeing all the devotees and all the deities. And then we have to leave. Life is in the West somehow. We've ended up here. The only good thing is that there's Krishna consciousness. So we're so grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Jayab Thakur Maharaj wrote this bhajan. Jadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito. If Prabhupada didn't come to the West and give us temples, give us devotees, give us the books, give us his philosophy, what would my life be? And it's a very good exercise to reflect on this regularly, to cultivate this feeling of gratitude to Prabhupada and gratitude for what we have. So actually this feeling of separation is actually not a bad thing. In one sense, it may feel bad. It may give us this sense of pain. But actually what it does, so separation is a very interesting topic and a very relevant topic because separation is a constant theme in Vrindavan also. And we spoke about this last time. Everyone experiences separation in Vrindavan. Mother Yashoda has to say bye-bye to Krishna when he's going off to herd the calves or the cows. For hours and hours, she has to be away from Krishna. Krishna's going to be gone. And even worse, he's going to be gone to the forest. He's not wearing shoes. He refuses to wear shoes. Why on Braj Bhumi, Krishna says, should I wear shoes? I want my feet to come in direct contact with the Dham. But then there's so much risk. Thorns, stones, bushes, so many risks. Then wild animals, beasts, demons that could come and harm Krishna. So Mother Yashoda tells Balaram, protect Krishna, you're his elder brother, make sure that nothing ill happens to him. She's very concerned, but she has to say bye to him. Her heart is like ripping her heart out. She's so pained. It's so difficult. But then eventually Krishna returns. There's 4 types of separation. I'll say quickly because time is 5 to 8. So if anyone has service, then you can go. Yeah, no problem. I won't take offense. So, Krishna, number 1, before the first type of separation is when the Vrajvasis, so when the gopis particularly, they never met Krishna before, but they love Krishna. So one time, Srimati Radharani, she hears someone playing the flute. And it's so amazing, so melodious. It steals her heart. She doesn't know what to do with herself. And then she thinks, who is this? Whoever this flute player is, she just falls in love with him. Then she sees, she hears the glories of Krishna. She's never met Krishna, but she hears the glories of Krishna. Rukmini, similarly, she heard the glories of Krishna and she fell in love with Krishna. Radharani heard the amazing, wonderful qualities of Krishna, his sweetness, his lovable nature. She fell in love with Krishna. And then she saw Vishaka, and Vishaka loves to paint. So Vishaka was doing a beautiful painting, and Radharani saw this exquisite painting. And whoever that person was, she fell in love with him. So then Radharani's sitting there thinking, my God, this person playing the flute, I love him. This person, Krishna, who's being described, I love him. And now, this picture that Vishaka's painted, this person, he's so attractive, I love him as well. It's bad enough I'm not married and I love a man, but I'm in love with 3 men at the same time. This is terrible. So she tells Lalita, I feel so fallen, I'm so degraded. What kind of a Vedic woman am I? And then Lalita says, actually, all these 3 is the same man. It's all Krishna. The flute player is Krishna. Vishaka's painting none other than Krishna. And the person you heard glorified is Krishna. So then Radharani feels a bit better, but still. So this is called Purvarag, to be in love before meeting. So this is the first type of separation. They feel this great attachment for this personality even before having met him. Second type is when, for example, Mother Yashoda, she has to say bye to Krishna. Krishna goes, but he'll soon return. So it's short separation. It feels long. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. What does he say? Jugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahena me. Without Krishna, in separation from Krishna, a moment feels like 12 years or more, Prabhupada translates. Jagat sarvam shunyaitam jagat sarvam. The whole world is void. I don't care about anything if Krishna's not there. This is the mood of separation. So this is how Mother Yashoda feels with short separation. Then there is pravas, long separation. Krishna, Akrura comes and he takes Krishna and Balaram away to Mathura, and the Vrajvasis have no idea when he will return. Krishna's gone. Oh my God, what will happen without Krishna? What will our lives be? They slump into a depression. For a long, long time, Krishna doesn't return. This is the third type of separation called pravas. And then the fourth type of separation is really far out. Radharani's here. Krishna's sitting right next to her. But there's always this fear that Krishna will go. Oh my God, Krishna's going to leave. Any moment, something may happen, Krishna's going to leave. So there's this constant fear of impending separation. One day, Madhu Mangal is around. There's Radha and Krishna, they're sitting together, and there's a bee which is floating around, flying around. So the Madhu Mangal, he's there, and he scares the bee away, shoos the bee away. So then he says, Madhu has gone. A bee is Madhu. Yeah, he gives honey. Another word for bee is Madhu. But then Krishna is also called Madhusudan. Yeah, so they also call him Madhu. So then Madhu Mangal says, Madhu's gone. So then Radharani, Krishna's sitting right there, but Radharani thinks, oh my God, Krishna's gone. He's sitting right there, but she thinks he's gone. I knew he'd go. He's left. So then Radharani goes into this ecstasy. She loses consciousness. She loses consciousness of her senses. Krishna's gone. Oh my God. And she's unconscious. This is called Prema Vaichitya. Only Radharani and a few others experience this Prema Vaichitya. It's a very rare experience because you have to be really attached to Krishna to experience this. Krishna's right there in association, but the ecstasy of separation is so deep, he feels like he's gone. But these are the greatest ecstasies of the Rajvasis. This mood of separation is actually even deeper in some ways than union. And then when you go back to Vrindavan, because you're feeling this depth of separation, when you go back to Vrindavan, it's even sweeter. It's even more beautiful. If you were living in Vrindavan, of course, we love Vrindavan, but if you were living there constantly, it just wouldn't be the same. Right? You were there for 6 months. If you came and went, then the experience of going back again is even sweeter because you've been away. So Rupa Goswami says, and actually our acharyas, our acharyas, they go through the rasa in so much detail. So Rupa Goswami says in a book called Ujjwala Nilamani, which is the graduate text to Nectar and Devotion, what does he say? Yes. So those who didn't hear, na vina vipralambhena samboga pushtim ashnute, that without separation, union is not nourished, he explains. So when you return to Vrindavan, it's even sweeter and deeper. So this is, our acharyas, they gave a lot on rasa. Srila Prabhupada was lighter on rasa because he was creating a worldwide movement and he was preaching to a worldwide audience who at most was 10 years old in Krishna consciousness. And therefore he had to establish them in rasa, in tattva. However, in many places, he is referring and instructing devotees to read and go into the Goswami literatures when they're qualified. If you read Prabhupada's insights into Gauranga Bolite Habe, if you read Adi 4, if you read Madhya 8 from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada is extensively referring to rasa literatures, to Goswami literatures, and instructing devotees basically that when you're qualified, then these levels of devotion are there, they exist, and one should enter into these. Rupa Goswami says that it is agraha. How does it go? It is to not advance, to not move forward in Krishna consciousness when one is qualified, or to advance too slow, too fast. Both are incorrect. One should practice according to one's qualification. Krishna consciousness is nectar of instruction. So it's just going back to your question. It's a short answer. Separation is a beautiful topic. So much to be said on separation. I would say I'll talk about it tomorrow at the Sunday feast, but it's not really a Sunday feast topic because there's a wider audience, but maybe another time. Madhavendra Puri says, what does he say? It is 4197 Antyalila. He says, Aidina Dayadra Natha He Mathura Natha Kudavalokashe. Hridayam Twadda Loka Kataram Daita Brahmyati Kim Karomiyaham. Madhavendra Puri, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grand spiritual master. His Ishwara Puri's spiritual master is Madhavendra Puri. He says, he's in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he says, Krishna, you're so far away. You're all the way in Mathura. If you're in Vrindavan, then Mathura is 45 minutes away by car. But it's a feeling, it's an experience, it's an emotion. Actually, it's all about emotion. At the beginning, Krishna consciousness is tattva, philosophy. Ultimately, though, it is all about rasa. Rasa transcends tattva in the ultimate topic, but we have to become fixed in tattva. This is very important. First of all, one must become fixed in tattva. But Madhavendra Puri is saying, Krishna, you're so far away. You're all the way in Mathura. We are in Vrindavan. What do I do? My heart is breaking. And when they say this, you know, we hear love songs, people say these things. My heart breaks. Her heart is really breaking in separation from Krishna. What do I do? What do I do now? How do I live? How am I meant to continue breathing in separation from you? This is the mood. And it's described that if we chant these verses, we repeat these verses, then gradually they rub off on our hearts. This mood of separation rubs off more and more and more. So it may feel bad, but actually it's a wonderful thing. It's a boon. Savor it, treasure it, keep it very close to your heart. Never let it escape your heart. And these books cultivate this mood. That's the purpose. I will stop there. I thank you all so much. Again, it's okay, quickly. Two men, two managers. Good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Just I want to ask you, when I went to Vrindavan in 2012, I brought dust of near Govardhana Hill Parikrama. I brought dust from Vrindavan. We need to take permission of Vrindavan Vasis, or one of the Mataji told me like that. But I don't know at that time.
Take dust. So just the question, Mataji in 2012 went to Vrindavan and she took some Vrajraj, some dust from Vrindavan and brought it back. And someone in Vrindavan or someone here?
Someone here.
Someone here said that you need permission to take the dust from Vrindavan. I would beg to differ.
Uh-huh.
You don't need permission to bring dust from Vrindavan. You need permission to bring Govardhan Shila
Oh,
or Shaligram Shila
uh-huh.
from Gandaki River. Shaligram Shila is found in Gandaki River in Nepal.
Mhm.
In Nepal. And then if you go to Govardhan, then there are Shilas from Govardhan Hill.
Oh.
But we don't disturb Giriraj. We don't just take Giriraj like that. It's very treasured, very prized. One should obtain permission from one's spiritual master before one takes. But
Oh.
dust, take absolutely.
No.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the birthplace of his spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, and he took dust from that place. And every day he would eat a bit of that dust in respect of his spiritual master. The place where the spiritual master appears is a very holy place. The same thing, therefore, Krishna is the ultimate spiritual master. The place where Krishna appeared, the place where Krishna performed his pastimes, so many wonderful, attractive, beautiful pastimes. That place is worshipable. So we should take that dust, put it on our head. We can consume a little bit of that dust on a daily basis. It's a wonderful way of coming in touch with Chintamani dust, of remembering Krishna, of respecting Krishna and his divine abode. So absolutely correct.
Prabhuji.
Thank you again so much, everyone, for your association. It's wonderful to see you all again. We'll continue tomorrow with the Sunday feast. I look forward to seeing you again. And before you go, please come and take a look at the books and take a set or two with you. ISKCON, Cedar Park, Austin ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Tribhuvana Sundar Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nittai Gaur Premanandi. Gaur Bhakta Brind ki, Jai. Regarding the books, I have a very special offer for someone who's keen.